Brothers and sisters, thank you very much for coming over today to be a part of this African Liberation Day event. Thank you to all of the persons who will be presenting our solidarity statements. Come to church with the Black Messiah and the representative from the Cuban embassy. Thank you for being here today to share with us this African Liberation Day. I know African Liberation Day, there's a lot of other holidays, a lot of other days out there, So some of us may not be used to, what is African Liberation Day. But it is a day where we talk about the revolutionary struggles that would have occurred, the struggles that were going on, where we try to hold up our revolutionaries and persons we define as fighting for our freedom. People like Malcolm X, people like Thomas Sankara, people like Marcus Garvey, and the many women, people like Harriet Tubman, the many women in the Caribbean and straight through the African diaspora. We hold them up when we talk about these things, but we also use this day to remind ourselves the struggle is not over. The struggle is not complete. But brothers and sisters, there's a little history that I think is important for us to know about African Liberation Day. And there's a figure that I think is important for us to know about. A gentleman by the name of African by the name of Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah was the president of Ghana. And I want us to be like, we sitting down and we talking. And Nkrumah was the president of Ghana. And we be talking during the 50s and in the 60s and during the heart of liberation struggles all around the world. India was independent. Ghana was independent. The doors of colonialism were being kicked in. People all around the world standing up and they were saying, no. Colonialism, the white man got to go. They're saying Europeans, they can't blatantly, this colonialism can't blatantly exist as it is. And Nkrumah was amongst these kind of times. And when we speak about the Nkrumah brothers and sisters, in capitalism, where they tell a story can lead them to individuals. And they don't help us to understand that individuals, especially great leaders, they only represent actually what's in the movement, what's in the people. So when I speak about Nkrumah, I ain't talking about an individual. I'm talking about a movement of our people struggling, right? We gotta understand that. We ain't talking about one man. He represents our struggle. But Nkrumah, during the heart of the liberation struggle, was saying, we need a United States of Africa. We need a unified and liberated Africa. That's what we need. We need all of the resources of African people to be started working in the interest of African people. No longer can we keep on maintaining the system and being imprisoned in these borders that was created by the French, that was created by the Portuguese, that was created by the Germans. These borders just imprisoning us, keeping us from being creating new economies, working with each other. Transforming our lives, creating industries that benefit us. That was the movement that Nkrumah represented. And brothers and sisters, we know that Kwame Nkrumah, he said himself, and this is a man who was born in Ghana. I mean, this is how powerful Black power is. A man who was born in Ghana, a African Ghanaian, who becomes the president of his country, and they ask him who's the most influential man in his life. And he says, Marcus Garvey. You see, this is the height of our movement. You see, an actual Garveyite who was the president of a movement, and he's going around and saying, we need a United States of Africa. We need to get rid of these borders. It can't be like this no more. against the status quo. When you challenging the position, things start to happen. We all know that. We all know when you stand on a job or you are standing anywhere, you start feeling the system is turning you into a crazy one.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's one crazy.
Troublemaker.
This is troublemaker. This is radical. This one will take over. So what they did, they used the media and they demonized Kwame Nkrumah. Right? They made it seem as if Kwame Nkrumah wanted to be the king of Africa. That's what Kwame Nkrumah wanted to be. Not the fact that he was saying we need a new economy. We need a one Africa, a one African economy. We need a one African army. We need a one African virus. You know, not the fact that's what they were scared of. But they manipulated the media and they demonized Nkrumah. They made Nkrumah to be over this dictator. And then they, what they also did is they supported forces inside Ghana who were against Kwame Nkrumah so that they could help topple Kwame Nkrumah. And then what they did, in terms of the economy, the Ghanaian economy is based on cocoa. And what they would do, they manipulated the market, so the market actually fell. But brothers and sisters, they economically, politically, you see what Cuba and Haiti is going through. These things happen to people who stand up and who resist, you see. But that's what they did to Kwame Nkrumah. And they demonized them, you see, because they wanted to crush that movement. They wanted to crush the movement of the United States of Africa. They wanted to crush the movement of that philosophy of Africa for the Africans and movement abroad. Crush that philosophy of man, child, these Europeans eating from Africa, the richest continent in the world. The Africans being spread across the world and we poor. And up to this day, Europeans still cutting up Africa and eating Africa. And Africans still poor. And Nkrumah saying, no. No Africans roam the world will be free until Africa is free. That's what Nkrumah said. You see? That's what Ghana people said. And they did all that they could do to talk to Nkrumah, to try to manipulate our minds about the position of what Kwame Nkrumah was trying to do. So what you are in life when one force is trying to push against the system, right? And that was the force of the people, right? That's what Kwame Nkrumah represented. What you want is the system pushes back. So you have a compromise. And the compromise was the Organization of African Unity. The compromise was the Organization of African Unity. That's not to say nothing about the part of the Organization of African Unity. But the plan, what was coming from the movement of the people, was for the United States of Africa. But the neo-colonialists and the imperialists, the different imperialist states, didn't want that. So the compromise was the Organization of African Unity, where all the African countries would remain in their boundaries, right? They would still operate with their imperialist powers, right? Those relationships would be fundamentally changed. And everybody could be the president of the country. The same to Kwame Nkrumah and other African leaders. Like I said, Kwame Nkrumah represents the movement. Sekou Touré, down in Guinea, he was aligned with Kwame Nkrumah. Nasser in Egypt, he was aligned with Kwame Nkrumah. You see? So we had Africans in the north and Africans in West Africa, and even Africans they were doing away with other Africans like the PAC. People is talking about the ANC in South Africa. The real revolutionary organization in South Africa was the PAC, the Pan-Africanist Congress of Tanzania. Robert Mugabe, that's what we need to be talking about. I don't care how much years the man spent in jail. I'm telling you what, because that same man who spent all that years in jail, when he come out of jail, other revolutionaries who was in jail, who was a part of the struggle with them, they won't get out of jail too. And you know what he do? He tells them to stay in jail. But these are the kind of men they find us as the leaders of the hold up. But we don't know about the PAC, the real revolutionary organization in Tanzania, South Africa. But just the kind of movement they will keep us ignorant of, you see, brothers and sisters, that there's actually African regular people out there who don't see it like how they see it. They see it in our own way, from our own eyes. Right? But that's what the movement is called, and who represented the Organization of African Unity, which is called from mine. I was founded in the Organization of African Unity. Kwame Nkrumah read his speech. And he said, you know, he basically said in his speech, and I paraphrase it, I enjoy you all. We can do this together. I can still be a part of this organization. We can do this together. But I tell you all, if we do this, if we remain in these boundaries and we remain in these borders, what will happen in Africa? We could be 100 years of wars, civil wars, years of civil wars and strife. With European mercenaries running through Africa and the imperialists just picking us off one by one. That was their brothers and sisters. What Kwame Nkrumah said is still come true. You see? But that's what the imperialists were fighting against. Because that's what is happening in Africa right now. The Africans fall. The richest continent on earth. Africans fall. Europeans running around in Africa supporting different factions. You see? African people killing each other, just like how we killing each other. While Europeans being enriched. And our life in this vicious cycle of poverty and poverty. That's the kind of things that, you know, they wanted to maintain, and Kwame Nkrumah, he wanted to change. But for us, when we talk about AFD, we talk about that. You see, that's like one part of AFD. How to go with that part of AFD. When people talk about AFD, sometimes when we talk about founding an organization of African unity, it's a little bit more deeper than that. See, it's just a little bit more deeper than that. Brothers and sisters, the African People's Socialist Party, the party that I am a part of, was actually founded in the early mobilization of African Liberation Day in 1972. When it's the first African Liberation Day that was mobilized, I was founding of our party. You see? So we have a rich history in making this day a significant day. I am also a part of the African Socialist International. And the African Socialist International has organizations in the USA, Africa, Europe, and the Caribbean. I represent the Caribbean front of the African Socialist International. And I am also chairman of the African People's Socialist Party of Bahamas, which comes under the leadership of the African Socialist International. Brothers and sisters, the theme here today is revolutionary organization is the only solution for the African working class. You know, when I walk on the street, people ask me what I call, what I am, why is laughter, or why is this, or why is that. I tell them I'm revolutionary. I tell them I'm a revolutionary. And I say with no apologies. And I tell them I'm a revolutionary. Because my mind is being totally changed. I have a new view in which to see the world. And brothers and sisters, my new view of seeing the world is because I am a part of other Africans who know the world, who fight in the struggle to free Africa. They allow me to see the world in a better way. You see? We cannot see the world just here on this road. We got to see the world from the point of view of how our collective eye almost will see the world. And the party has allowed me to define my life and give me direction. And I believe, brothers and sisters, that the African People's Socialist Party is something that is needed in the Bahamas. We need a political group that actually can go there and say, I will organize the African working class. Yeah, I will go there and organize the African working class. And the poor. We got to build the community centers. We know that the leaders can do it. We know that the petty bourgeoisie ain't do it. No matter how much talk, no matter how much money they get, they ain't do it. So we keep on drawing the same conclusion. So we got to organize the working class. We got to organize these African working class communities. But we got to bring revolutionary theory. We got to bring revolutionary understanding. We have to bring an understanding that helps us to understand that our identity, who we is, connected with our economics. Who we is connected with our economics and is connected with our future. That's what defines us as a revolutionary party, my brothers and sisters. That's what defines us. And I meet people and they ask me, what defines, what makes you different from the DNA? What makes you different from the PLP? What makes you different from the FNL? I say, I am an African internationalist. I see the world from a different point of view. I talk to my people about imperialism. I say that these foreign forces that dominate our lives, you understand? That dominate foreign communities. All these middle-class communities would fall away with the bank foreclosing. These foreign institutions would own them. All those families, their housing being insecure, their life being shaken. Those decisions ain't being made here. That's being dominated by outside forces, you see. This concept of the only way to be is developed if a European comes here and give us the money, and then the petty bourgeois Africans, the lawyers and the accountants, they get to work for the white man. So they get a little piece of that. So they trade, and then that money come down and trickle down there. That ain't what you know, man. That's not even working. This concept of getting loans from these banks, these institutions, that deepening this parasitic system that they have with us. You understand? They will give you a hospital. Huh? Right? They will build a hospital for you, right? But you gotta buy the medicine from them.
On the breakfast. Yes, sir.
You understand?
In the bed.
The machine, you gotta get the machine from them.
And they work with that, isn't it?
You understand? And they know that these parasites, these world institutions, banks and organizations only lend money for so-called infrastructure, right? Infrastructure. While they got to train and they fly and they just let us go. Come on, man. But I saw an LP, you know what we got to understand? We have got the people understanding and the reason they got them trained, and the reason they got them roads, and the reason they got them skyscrapers, and the reason they got them big banks, and the reason they got them nice paved streets, because they're in a parasitic relationship with us.
That's the reason to get the money out.
A parasitic relationship that goes back 500, 600 years. Brothers and sisters, I ain't telling no lie, man. I ain't telling no lie. I be in London. You know, what I don't like is these petty bourgeois blocks, they go to these places, right? And then they say they come, they bring knowledge to our people, right? But they don't tell our people really who they are. They tell them, no, they ain't really telling our people who they are. I be in London, right? I used to work, you know, I don't know what kind of money. So I was going to law school, and I was working with a part-time job. My old man was trying to do the best for me. But I had to do a little job on the side. I was working in the Bahamas Maritime Authority. I couldn't believe in my country had a institution in another country and was called the Bahamas Maritime Authority. What is it? Yeah. You know, I'm young. I understand what you're saying. That time when you go to the Bahamas Maritime Authority, right? It's in London now. Okay? It's in London, right? And there's a part in London, right, where, like, You know, I never been in Wall Street, but I saw Wall Street got plenty of fines and all kinds of things. So this part of London where like the commercial part, they got plenty of fines and this and that, right? But then the Bahamas Maritime Authority in the office, they got about maybe, I don't know, a couple of behaviors that a European director had run this country, had run the operation, you know. And then they found out stuff as I work in the Bahamas Maritime Authority. The Bahamas is the third largest ship registry in the world. Yeah. You understand what I mean? I know. Regular, all of us understand what I mean. You know, like how, like Clarence and David didn't really go register your car. You don't like to the car, right? You gotta go there, you gotta carry your insurance, you gotta carry all that, right? That's the business, right? They do that. In the maritime world, countries will do that. The office is going to do that in the country. So we have ships, so you basically register to be on the Bahamas flag. So the Bahamas is the third largest ship registry in the world. What it basically means, brothers and sisters, is there are thousands and thousands of ships, cargoes out there that have the Bahamas flag and using our name, making millions and millions of dollars, right? And these ships got tourists, right? These ships are transporting gas, oil, goods. Going on here, right? Some big money going on. Yeah, that big money supposed to be on. How much time is going on? So while you're still looking, you know, they're trying to figure out what's going on, right? So on the lunch, on my little lunch break at the Bahamas Maritime Authority, I used to walk around the little office, right? And in the little office, it was a maritime area. And it had like lawyers who was in the maritime, right? And then they had like insurance, other workers, they officers. They was dealing with the insurance part of the maritime for these ships. And then they had other officers who are the architects who are dealing for these ships. There's a whole industry what's going on around here. Then they got the bookstores, the bookshops, and all these bookshops selling books about ships and maritime and all of this. And this area now, when they talk about, there's thousands of people here. And these thousands of people hustling and bustling and doing all of that. And they working and moving and they catching trees and what? With skyscrapers. And but this industry in the Bahamas though. This industry in the Bahamas, right? We're the third largest ship registry in the world with this industry in the Bahamas. We ain't got them lawyers who deal with them ships. Right? We ain't got the carpenters who making the ship makers. Sorry, who making the ships. Right? We ain't got the insurance people who dealing with the ships. We ain't got that. And this industry, we want to talk about London now. We want to talk about London. The main shipping places in England is places like Liverpool. And when you check the history of Liverpool, then you understand where the wealth of Europeans come from. Because the history of Liverpool was based, right, on the enslavement of Africans, right? The more ships that went, they had to find different ways to build the ship, right? So that created creativity, right? That created stimulus for invention, right? The more wealth that went into ships meant that they were able to bring more ships and more money was able to be collected and banks and insurance companies like Lloyd's. Lloyd's started as a coffee shop in London. You know what I said? Lloyd's is one of the most powerful institutions in this world. Lloyd's in the maritime, Lloyd's in the banking. Lloyd's started as a coffee house in London where the men used to come and put on the wall advertisements for slaves. You know? That's what it started off. in the slave trade, they used to come there and drink coffee and put up a little art. You see? That's the beginning of Lloyd's fight. Lloyd. Barclays, same way. The Industrial Revolution, you can't even talk about the Industrial Revolution in England without talking about the colonization of African people. And our energy and our labor that went into that process. Right? This is what we bring when we talk about our life and our future as African people. Right? But brothers and sisters, we also talk about the fact that we want to change this relationship that we in. This relationship, man, this parasitic relationship. We got to understand this parasitic relationship that we have to be with. In order to understand that, we have to have a better understanding of these Europeans, right? We got to understand who they are and where they come from. Before 1492, what they used to do, how they used to be. We were so bad together, but we just don't know what they used to be. Because all of a sudden, they got everything, and we ain't got nothing. And I show all of us in here know, to a certain extent, that Africa's history is deep. Right? Africa's history is deep. The beginning of mankind. Right? So we got to have a proper understanding of what Europeans used to be before they even got into this relationship with Africans. Columbus, what they say? Columbus says 1492, 27 years before that, the plague of just Europe. The plague, y'all ever watch the movie where they talk about the plague? And almost wiped out half of Europe. That's how like people who bring in the democracy. You know, they make it sound like Europeans would just jump off the ship with tractor and hammer and nail and man, they just build it up, man, lay it off like that, man. This was a desperate people. This were the people who were impoverished. We ain't talking about, we're talking from science, you see. We got to understand the relationship so that we can be able to change it, you see. During that period, that was basically the Dark Ages. They were living under feudalism. That's what it's called that. You see them so much fighting movies when they show on TV? Them movies when they make up? Don't mind talking all of them philosophical talk when they were coming over the emotion. You know, that was feudalism. And under feudalism, there was the landlord and the serf. The serf worked the land, or whenever he worked on the land, he take a little small piece and he family, and all of that had to go to the landlord. That was the mode, that was how life used to run. If the landlord wanted to come on the land, or the king or the noble wanted to come on the land and have sex with your wife, what the market said, that's what he could do. That was his right. That was feudalism. Now this sounds like a place for freedom. This sounds like a place for to bring freedom to anybody. This sounds like a place for that democracy. Man, they're trying to talk some science, man. We got to understand what happened to us, you see. Right? Most Europeans were serfs. Most of them worked the land. And if they didn't work the land, they actually, you was organized in things you called guilds. Guilds was like unions for way back in the ancient times. If you was like a blacksmith, you would be in a guild. You see? If you was like had an iron kind of trade, you would be in a guild. You see? In order to be in a guild, you had to like work for the iron, for the blacksmith for a long time. That's how you get in the guild. But that was like unions back in the ancient times. But this is the kind of society that Europeans were basically in. You see? So what is it, brothers and sisters? Where the skyscrapers come from? Where the Industrial Revolution come from? Because if they wasn't producing it on their own, right? Or for their own economic development. If they were producing it on their own economic development, then fine. But they wasn't producing it on their own economic development, right? Internally. It wasn't coming over them internally. But you know where it come from? Capitalism. capitalism, the beginning of capitalism. What was the beginning of capitalism? The beginning of capitalism is the genocide of the native people. Right? That's the beginning. That's the early point of capitalism. Right? Because they just didn't have everything. There had to be a point where there was something before capitalism, had to be a beginning point, And like every point had a beginning, Right? It had to be a point where they get on the line. Right? It had to be a point where all the rest was in store. It had to be a point, a beginning point. It ended up beginning point was imperialism, where Europeans were going on, stretching across lines, dominating other lands, and enriching other lands. And then through that enriching other lands, their identity started to change. You see those Turks that I was talking about? Man, they were the nations. The European identity hadn't even been consolidated yet. England was in a nation. Spain was in a nation. These were basically, they called Africa warring tribes. That period right there, the Dark Ages, that was warring tribes. Europeans basically defined themselves in a relationship to each other. That's what they trying to show with us cinema. But they ain't trying to show the history of that, you see? So that we can have a proper understanding of that. That feudalism, that period. Right? But what these warring tribes, these celts, these groups, what consolidated these identities? What brought the towns of Liverpool, created the towns of Liverpool and Manchester? What have had so many different factions? What bring them together? We ain't fighting each other no more, so we gotta find another interest. That interest became the slave trade. That interest became the colonialism. Through this united interest, this consolidated the European nation. When they speak to us, they make it seem like nations way back in the day. Like thousands of years ago it was nations. They lied. Stop that. You're talking science. Nations come around with capitalism. And the birthplace of capitalism, the genocide of the native people, the enslavement of African people, the colonization of Africa, the colonization of India, the colonization of China,
Australia.
that's primitive accumulation. That's Australia and native people in Australia. That's primitive accumulation. That's the beginning point of capitalism. And guess what? Every couple of years, capitalism is getting weak. And what it has to do, right? It has to go back to the beginning point. Where it actually has started, that process of that building, it got to reorganize that again, you see? When they talk about depression, they reorganize the position. You see? Every couple of decades, capitalism goes through this dip where it produces more than the workers can afford. Right? It's a social system where it just produces. No kind of objective. So what it does, it creates a system where it produces so much the workers can't even afford it, so it creates inflation. So every couple of decades, they go through this big thing where it's called depression. But what is really about, it's time to reorganize the position, and capitalism's position. So primitive accumulation is an important thing for us to understand right now. Because capitalism is world system. It's coming back to these same places where it has begun. The same places, genocide and native people, where the collection of the stolen land has begun, and straight through America, these same places. Right? That's what one of the wars about. Right? Because the whole system is in a crisis. It's shaking. Because each one of these people they talk about around the world, brothers and sisters, is people just like you and me. Who want to change the system? They try to do outside the box. They needed today, they needed yesterday, and they keep eating. Right? But understanding that process, that process of accumulation, that parasitic relationship that we have with Europeans, how their identity is connected with our oppression. What they already said. Their identity connected to our oppression, our disunity. Even some of ours. The more we divide, the more money you will make. Anybody who understand that don't understand the economics of this country. That is the truth. You can understand the base on the labor, on the job. If you try to organize in a hotel or whatever union, the more people divide, the less power you get it. You can't confront the system good. Because everybody's trying to confront the system from their interest. You can't even think you got a common interest with your own right on the side. You see? So these kind of stuff, these parties ain't talking about people to vote on. They ain't giving our people no vision, no direction. They ain't got a theory, you see. They ain't got a revolutionary theory, you see. They ain't talking to our people about imperialism, you see. They call it FBI. Foreign direct investment. Right? They ain't call it imperialism no more. They call it IMF. I'm the word right. It ain't imperialism no more. NGO. We gotta get over this. But we can't just criticize it. We gotta give our people a philosophy to give them a view of their identity, of who they is, the role that they play in this whole world social system. But that philosophy gotta give them a direction. But that direction don't come from abstract in our mind, or sitting down. You want to build a nation, man, you want to give them a direction to build a nation. When you want power, you build a nation. So we got the philosophy that we talk about people about in terms of European identity being consolidated of the genocide of the native people, the enslavement of the Africans, and other colonial oppressed people from the world. We got to reverse this process. Oh yeah. We say in our party, we got to reverse the burden of imperialism. Yeah, man. This vicious cycle could be just like this. For the rest of our life, for the next 500 years, this can be it. Our economy is going to be based on the next white man when he comes here, how much money he gives us. This economic dependency, this sense of enriching other nations, giving them jobs, giving them industries, giving them employment. That relationship, that's a dead man. And our leaders got to say that today. Yes, sir. We got to start off, we got to say that today. We got to make laws to say that today. Yes, sir. That's what we got to do. But they ain't talking about that. What they say is these things is the answer. The IMF is the answer. Yes. Man, I don't know what it is. The IMF is the answer. FBI is the answer. Not believing enough. You see? Not taking a chance on us. Oh man, somebody got to take a chance on us, man. We got to take a chance. We got to take a chance on us. We got to take a chance on us. If you could put 9 million into dancing. Yes, sir. What? You have to take a chance on us. How do you know I can put 9 million right now? Even 3 million. Housing. They could have shared us. That's still what they're playing. You know, it's used as an economic development. We got people who will start businesses, who are existing businesses, right? Right? And ideas, we need an infusion of capital in our communities. Now we can do that. We got to have a political party to fight these things and say, this is how we do this. You see the 200 million we are taking around these bikes? Since you're keeping in our country, and we in the warehouse for the whole international world, it's 200 billion, you want to present to that. Your corporations are making millions around the world, of the diamond trade and telecommunications industry. These same industries were raping our brothers and sisters in Africa. You want to cut it out? Yeah, man. Yes, sir. What is it, thing?
I will. Gentlemen.
We need an infusion of capital in our communities. And the iron come from them first. The iron so they can give us some damn cards. So we can get something out of the end of the month. Man, I ain't fighting that, you know. Because these are rough times, but I ain't fighting that. But I can't tell you what that is government. You know, they put in the computer system for that. You know, that's coming with all kinds of parasitic entanglements. You see, that's coming with economic dependency. That ain't coming with liberation. That ain't money to liberate. That's money to inflate. But we need an infusion of capital in our communities, man. We need to fight for that. Right? Let's believe in ourselves. Right? We got to extend the tourist base. We got to extend the tourist base. We got to only couple in areas in this island, that's where the tourists will be. Right? They're in areas, they making the money. They're short. So man, we want some of our money running these communities. If you will keep us in this industry, allow us to make some money off this industry. But they play for extending the tourist base. And we gotta extend the tourist base. We gotta carry over in. Take it from downtown and carry over in. They talking with the captain. They let talk about them there, how back in the day over town, over being town, used to be this and stuff, and that's who talk to it. Create it. They can use that money, what they do for government to do that. Yes. Extend it to its base. Carry over there. It ends up so many over there. Right? They can bring economic development into the community. And we gotta do that. We gotta come up with these kind of projects. Believe in ourselves. Right? And we gotta do that with vision. Right? Right? We gotta understand that our identity is connected with our economics. We ain't only gotta do business with who they tell us to do business with. I don't do business with the producers, man. The producers of these raw materials. You understand? That's what I do business with. To the source. Especially with the internet right now. Yeah, man. I can make my own call. What do you think?
Buy a coffee right from the butterfly.
Right? I'll buy a coffee right from People's Base.
Right from the pop.
Right? I even would jump over the fellow on the phone for the fellow who make coffee. Yeah. Because he doing the same thing. These sectors are over here. I wouldn't need that. The black people suffer. Neo-colonialism, that's real. Black power and white race, that's real. That's in Africa, that's all over. When we experience the young people on the Caribbean Island, experience the same thing. Black leaders who say black. Black in color. Any black and politics. Don't really believe in people. Only say that. He got no vision for people. Right? So we gotta extend to respect. Who will do that? Who will do that, man? We gotta do that. We got to organize into a revolutionary organization to do that. And we got to create new connections, within new relationships with people. With Ghana, with Jamaica, with Haiti. Yeah, we can do that. We can go port to port. We can build our own Liverpool. Just like I got Liverpool, that port, that maritime industry, they got ships in there and all that. We won't do that too. We won't do that in the morning. That's the funny thing, you know, after people all around. We all around the world. We start being us, yeah. You believe that? We start being upset. We start fully putting our life into us. Where every day when we wake up, we dealing with us. How we eat, how we sleep, start dealing with us. Right? We start doing like an inch on videos here. We gotta start. Right? We need an organization who will fight for us. Right? We need an organization that can connect us to 1.5 billion Africans around the world who were into just what you were into. And they got power too. Even though they tell us we ain't got no power, the wealth of this world is because of us. The workers straight from across the world, the workers and the poor people, as the engine keeping this whole thing going. You see them looking at the stock market and all them numbers and all that. Get up behind all of them numbers. People working. It's sweat. It's blood. It's wars. You can't just believe that they sit marking the computer and that's numbers. They live our life. Yes. Yeah, we got to be a part of that process, brothers and sisters, to build this new world. To give our people aggression. We said our people really don't know keep on consolidating their identity, consolidating their nation, building their nation. We can reverse that process. We can connect to 1.5 billion Africans worldwide and Africa, young resources. Right? I want the oil here and I want the oil in Nigeria. So that's how I said, don't limit what I want. Don't limit me. Why you want to limit me? Why the China man said, oh, anyway, he said you want that rock and you want China. Can't stop that. Don't limit me. I want oil here and I want oil in Africa. You see? That's how we got out the concept of our vision and our identity. Our politics, our economics got to be based on Africa. We don't love Muhammad. But when we love Africa, we love ourselves. That's the process. Connecting, building new relationships, that's the process. That process is loving ourselves, you see. That's a hard road, but that's the road we gotta take. This Lord, this party is revolutionary, they will take that road. But we gotta build an African nation. We gotta connect 1.5 billion African people worldwide. So brothers and sisters, there's no political party that's confused for you and our interests. That's my submission, man. That's what I submit. Especially in the interest of the working class. They get their working in someone's interest, but they're not in. It's in the interest of imperialism, and it's in the interest of the petty bourgeois elites, the nationalists in this country. Who will remain in the place that they are. They will remain our leaders. And then they journey to be our subjects for the next 50 years. We got to change that. We got to build a party that's fighting for our interests. Right? So, brothers and sisters, today I'm making a call for membership, to voices to be a part of the African People's Socialist Party. This is the process. We got to do it together. We got Africans in African People's Socialist Party, we got Africans who spread through the world. Forces who spread through the world. Just like doing here right now, just this week, they're starting in front of people in Germany, in France, in Belgium, in Africa, in Europe, talking just like what they're talking about right now. Trying to create a collective consciousness of African people. Right? When we think the same thing. Right? When we move in the same way. Right? When we can on what they want us to see. That's what we try to do. That's what we have in the day. We need people, we need bodies. We got to remove the burden spare of Africa. The burden spare is known as the Negro word. Back in the day, the Negro word used to be, that's Marcus Garvey newspaper. The black people who know when news around the world, like in the 1920s, they used to spread the Negro word. The Negro word, they come on a ship. Man, the whole ship used to read the Negro word. You know? That's how important the Negro word was. The burden spare is an old, very old, the oldest black radical political publication. They've been around for a long time. We got that in the back there. Support things like British Fair. But we need editors, we need writers. We need journalists. We need people who write about the experience of what happened in the farmers so that they can publish it in British Fair. Right? So when the British Fair brings Kenny up, the brothers sitting down and Kenny up and say, oh, so the after the to the farmers. My God, the sun's not a thing on there. Right? So that kind of discussion did we get. Train. So we start talking to each other. Right? Every time African people talking to each other, we're talking to each other through Europeans. The BBC got to tell us what's going on in Africa. Huh? The BBC can tell us what's going on in Africa. They ain't even know what's going on in Africa. We got to break these things. We got to begin somewhere. We got Burden Fair. We got Black Star Industries. We're trying to build companies, industries, cooperatives. We're trying to create a society where we fight against each other. Where we say, these resources, everybody put in work, and all these resources, we can share these, and everybody can live. Yeah, I will take from you, and I will take from you, but all of us please. We try to do that. We need people to help us to build these things, you see. And I was going to show the other day, and I think it's important that I say that. Because we need members, we need members, man. We got to wait for, we got to build a revolutionary organization. But I was going to show yesterday, and somebody asked me, call in, and they wanted to ask our views on other races, right? Like I say, he's a revolutionary party. A revolutionary party, that's how we see ourselves. When we talk about the history of the world, when we talk about African people, I talk to the genocide and the Native people, mom. Come on, mom. Native people, some of the Native people didn't even hear what's going on with them doing African people. We hear. We on this rock. We got to stay in touch with them. We talk with the Native people, enslaved with Africa, and African people. And with the British did to the Indians. To our words, from our perspective, takes all people into consideration. Right? But we also, in our party, we know how a practical way how we can deal with Europeans. Right? In our party, we have something called the African People's Solidarity Committee. Where we have Europeans, but in our party, come on, man, this is one word we're trying to build. We're trying to end parasitism in the world. And this predatory relationship African people and other colonial people in with Europeans. You think there ain't Europeans out there who are in? You think the Europeans out there who are in this war? Can't stop that. I can tell you there's Europeans out there in the world who are in this parasitic relationship to be in. I'm asking you, I'm telling you. I was in London when they were going into Iraq. I was in London. I see a million people walk into Hyde Park and say, no, this war is wrong. Right? A million people. Right? We got soccer going on, we got all kind of TV, all kind of foolishness going on. But a million people walk up and say, listen to me, man, this war is wrong. Right? So I know there's Europeans out there who are waiting to be in a process where they can build a new relationship with African and other people around the world. We got to do this in a scientific way. They don't do it with real coalition kind of way. Oh, I want come on. We're talking science here. We recognize the contradiction and find ways to practically deal with contradiction. Right? So that's the kind of party that we trying to build. A party that put down the statement of Africa. We put down the statement of Africa, but we see ourselves as part of the worldwide movement, the socialism. But the world will change. And the world will change. We say in our party, we know that socialism is painted black. You can't use the concept of a word where it change. If you don't change the Africans, who are the basis of the system. You see? Not the only basis, but a big part of the basis, the foundation. We got to is up the things that I want to talk to you about here today. Let you know the kind of why we define ourselves as a revolutionary party. Why I define myself as a revolutionary. And everything I say here today is I get smart. I get to the same school right now. The same school right now. The same rock right here. I was the kind of right here, the podium right here. We all kind of try to teach. Oh boy. But you know, I'm regular mom. Regular all up in your regular. And you know, regular people just trying to transform our life. So trying to feel our own power, understand our own power, organize ourselves, mobilize ourselves, see the world in a different way. Our new identity to the world, our new vision. So I make it call to membership brothers and sisters. You gotta know what you do. We need to do this work. They do this work. We gotta do this work. So again, thank you for everybody for coming out to the African Liberation Day. And I hope that I was formative with Right. Next will be question and answer. Anybody want to say anything? No comment? Ask anything?
Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Pastor Dr. Stephen W. III, also known as College on Rock. I really enjoy when we share today. The question I have is in terms of platform, in terms of the HR things that people can put their hand on when they're studying cross-reference and be able to send that yes, that's something that's well.
If that is something that you talk about. That is something that we do have, but we want the person to be a part of this process. And the burden spare is in the box there. It's not expensive, but in the burden spare it has all of the things that we are fighting for in the African People's Socialist Party. That's the constitution of the African People's Socialist Party. And it has stories about happening with Africans throughout the world. Right now, it has a story about, if anybody knows what's happening in the U.S. The U.S. is made from one man, city after city. You know, city after city. And this is happening under Barack Obama. This is happening under the pinnacle of neocolonialism. This is happening under black power, white power, that a movement of black people saying our lives don't matter. Black lives matter. Happening under a black president. The conflicts in the world are coming to a blatant, serious point. But I also want to say that we've been young for a couple of years, organizing. I've been in this community for a couple of years, organizing. In the last election, I ran an independent candidate for this community. I got 19 votes. I may not have articulated it as I am now, down there. I still was trying to find my way to it. And you gotta talk to people, that's how you find your way to it. Because you don't have all that in your head, you don't talk to people. So, but I was articulating the same thing. But I didn't run as the African People's Socialist Party. I ran as independent, I got 19 votes. I know how to run, it's talking about, black power. All of us in the state, all of us to do it. You see, the people outside of the community, they don't want to do this. You see, the problem in between that brother over there and that brother over there, we gotta create our own economic development, And I got support. I I never had nobody, something with the power, but a talk without fear. I said, people just need to know, man. Nobody's tearing me down. You know what I'm saying? People understand it on a very serious level, you know? But we've been going from around here in this community for a while. During that campaign, I did a revolutionary national democratic program. A program we believe that if you infuse it into our people, it could get our juices flowing. Get our juices flowing. You know, they say they believe in the healing voice, but they ain't got no real system to say how that can actually take place. This concept of believing in the healing voice. So those things, when I talk about infusing capital into these communities, extending the tourist base, the first thing that I want a revolutionary national democratic program is economic development and job creation, creating economic development commissions. We need our own working class organizations to deal with the economic in the community. You see, that come from the community. You see, I don't talk about no committee or commission or what they deal with, PhD or A, I don't know what they talk about. We need our own committee. People, regular people, dealing with serious business. Because this audience today about the business of people. You see? So we gotta organize into our committee, into our commissions, and get about the business of people. And we need to do that. And economic development can be the first thing on the agenda. Infusion capital into our communities. How we can do that? Passing laws and policies to get the money to the corporation of developing relationships with Europeans and other people. How we can do that? You see, we need to do these things. Some of the other things that we talk about was widening the citizenship rights, community control over the police. This antagonism between the police and the community, so this has come to the end. We need community control over the police. There shouldn't be no institution in this country over the people. Institutions should be working for the people. So we need community control over the police. Now I talk about urban rules. I talk about us sitting on boards and you know, with them and this is what you do, this is what we do. Okay? But there's other things, but just through the time, and yeah, you know, we have other people who are here too, you know, and I say there's so much time, and I do apologize for that. But here.
Two things I wanted to say. What I did not hear in your speech, I think that as a group, we haven't talked about food security. From my understanding about people, you can't think about anything higher if you are hungry. So the main issue we have crime issues, we have all these issues, and because people are poor and hungry, people don't know where their next meal is coming from. So as a group, maybe food security, how do we acquire land in our own country to be able to secure ourselves in terms of once we can actually begin to eat on time, our brains begin to work on another kind of level. Once you're not worrying about what I get tomorrow, how I can get social services to get this food stamp, what I get to do. So we've been wondering why people are not grasping onto concepts like this of joining different groups or actually becoming more active in their communities is because they're worried about how they're sharing their eat tomorrow. So I think that should be part of the agenda for this party. Acquiring land, acquiring technology, acquiring the means to be able to feed ourselves, feed the community, so that we are not so heavily reliant on the government. We're not relying on handouts, or we're not relying on any kind of anything from anybody outside of the self. You know, I think the point is to become self-sufficient, isn't it? So the first step to becoming self-sufficient is to feed ourselves.
I totally unite with everything that you would have said, and I think that for us we don't look at it as two separate questions. We see this as one and the same thing. But I understand what you say. And in our party we have practical programs, and everything that we say is practical. We say that number one, right? But we have programs where persons are involved in building community gardens. Because that's a part of this how we feed ourselves. That's what we need to do in every community around here. Let's know that. We have so we have persons who are involved in building community gardens. We need a community garden in the around here. That's straight up and down. That's what we need. But we don't need we need to be more than one hospital. We need to be more than two hospitals. We need an organization that says that, you know, we need to mobilize and organize our people into this direction. You see? So again, it becomes a political question. How do I not only move myself on an individual level to do it, but how do I organize other like-minded people to move in that direction to do the same? You see? So the question still passes up is a political question. But you know, community cooperatives, that's one of the things we want to do in our industries. We want to nurture cooperatives in our society. In industries where that we can scientifically say that if you move together, you could balance the forces in that industry. We need to nurture cooperatives. Just where it be bringing goods in, import, export, we need to nurture cooperatives. So, but we believe it is important to say that food insecurity is because that we are in a historic parasitic relationship with Europeans. You see? The reason why Ford, everyone knows the story of Ford in the paper, you know, to make things that ain't even a fish that comes from that region. Ford is a fish that is based in Newfoundland, in Canada, in England. But you know what the British did? The British, with so much wanted to create a fishing industry in those ports, they passed days where it said on Saturday and Sunday you're supposed to eat fish in their countries. You see? So the history of the things that we eat is connected to this parasitic relationship. You see? And the programs that we carry out, we need that understanding, you see? It properly guides us. But time, I run out of time. I really run out of time, yeah. Oh, because I run out of time, one more? Okay, one more. Okay, sorry.
It's very appreciative and it's very unique in the fact that it's time. I know that me and Alex grew up in these communities. One of the things that I want y'all to remember, in the 1966-67 election, no black man could have been seen voting for a black party. You know what they had to do? They was waiting for a company, the top 7 at the time, the white knights they called them at the time. And one of the things I want to share with you is we actually at one point in 7 and 8 diffused and disseminated in all of these communities because our fathers or our uncles could not be seen campaigning for a black party. And I would like to say that after we won, and in 1970, click it down right here, after we won, what did we want? We didn't know what value of things is because we never had a Christmas time and turkey and Christmas party. And we would people after that. And they're still giving you today ham and turkey at Christmas party. But I think we need to use that young spirit. We need to use them like they do now to disseminate the young people and make them be a part of this organization. Because a lot of us already been indoctrinated for so long. We got calluses already. And now we got to be able to dig those calluses out. But I believe the influence in this movement needs to come from the young who've not been indoctrinated yet. And I admonish you to go in that direction. Because a lot of parents will follow those kids in safe ways into their future. I appreciate being here again. They know we have teachers, economic justice, and equality for basic people. But I went along with Alex all along a long time. And I'm saying to you, I have poetry, but I wouldn't do that at the time of the yesterday.
one more. Be told that this will be the last one.
My name is Daniel. This is an important question I feel like I really want to get at. You explain the science of a parasitic relationship with the Europeans. From a political science standpoint, I would like to hear the thesis in going forward in order to, in one, because I don't think moral laws can control the morality. So the parasitic, the historical parasitic relationship, like you say, what can be done going forward to create change in that? And I say this from a political science standpoint, because when it was presented before, like the elder just said, when it was presented before, we were told that we're going to get rid of the Europeans and still work with them in a way. And that's not what we have that parties that have been going through the last 20 years. So, what was told before from a political standpoint didn't really, even though it was a revolution, it didn't really bring the benefits to the people. Like he just said, 29 and 30. So I'm asking from the people standpoint, what will that change?
I think that's what separates us, you know, because it's one thing to say that you want to create a nation, right? As an abstract, everybody, one of us will sit down here and say, I want to create a nation, and these are the kind of things that I want in my nation, right? As an abstract, as a hypothesis. But in science, it start off with how it happened, right? Not it's another version of what happened, but it ain't happen like that at all. No, how did a nation happen? How were nations created? We keep on pushing that on our people because we believe in our understanding of that point direction to where we need to go. If we understand that England was created out of a process, and you know what we have to see history about this is now we have to see life, we have to see it as moving, you see. It's always in a process, you see. As we sit in this room right now, it is a process. You see? Our body moving, our cells moving, we are moving, you see? So we can't see it as like stop. You see? We got to see it as a part of a moving process. And life is connected together as part of the moving process. So our cells moving. So the question is, how do we influence these moving particles? How do we get us moving in a positive direction? The relationship that we have with our Europeans, we say is a parasitic relationship. Because now, whether or not they are conscious of it or not, that's neither here nor there. The people who I was talking about in London, they were going about their jobs. They didn't understand whether or not they were in a parasitic relationship with the Bahamas. You see? But that's why we keep on speaking about that parasitism, because we want people to understand what it is, what a nation is. These parties say that they will build a nation, what a nation is. The nations that are in existence right now are built for our collectives. Not only the Bahamas labor. The Bahamas labor in great England. The Africans in the Bahamas, no doubt, to create that nation. You see, we won't create a nation. Who won? We won't create a nation. But we ain't trying to sit down and tell our people come in our mind how to create a nation. We will say, one, this is what happened. This is how a nation gets created. Right? We are involved in a process over and over, where the things that they involve in to produce and eat and secure their way of life, how they eat and sleep in it and all of that, whether they know it or not. That eating and sleeping and all of that got us impoverished. But we can change that. We can build a way where they can eat and we can eat too. You see? We can change that. So understanding what is a nation, a scientific view of a nation, and then thinking to our people and say, man, it ain't a Bahamas nation that we need to do. processes that we involved in now, scientifically, that our neighbor going through now. Right? The car industry, the manufacturing industry that our neighbor going into now, the raw materials that our neighbor going into now. It ain't like being in the system, you know, brothers and sisters. We in the system. Africans in the system. Right? But in this thing that accumulates oil as well, we ain't get qualified. And they telling us the nation that we need to send is small one. Small one on this group, and small one on that group. They don't want us to connect with 1.5 billion people worldwide. That's what a nation is, you see. Connecting with them 1.5 billion people worldwide. Connecting with Africa and all of these monsters in Africa. To enrich us. You see? To replace those processes. Yeah, but like my brother there, we do know, you know, I gotta talk to the sister, what he said is connected to how we live. It ain't like something far off, you see? Because how we live right now, if they want us to accept being a Bahamian, what that is? Because we are dominated by U.S. If they want us to keep on being Bahamian, keep on building this, that means keep on helping England be a big. Right? You will tell our people that we don't keep on doing that. We will start doing industries for us and connecting with other people. So that's the direction. We talk about nation and where we need to go. So, I think that will be the last question.